Let's go.
Okay.
All right, we are live. We're live on YouTube.com. This time not
We're
unlisted.
live on
This time
YouTube.com.
public. This time the stream will be posted to everybody's notifications, and they'll actually join, not just the people who received the link.
I'm gonna put the link in the Aeropol Discord real quick.
Yes, go ahead and share the link around. That way we can get some viewers.
If we can get the Gales in here, that'd be good laugh.
Yeah, so it's public now. It is set to, guess what? Education.
Listed.
Category, education. We're about to educate some people on the Anglos. Let me just make sure it's working, right? It's not unlisted now. Welcome back, Sobieski. Still have questions about streaming? No, I don't. All right, so we're public. That means people should be notified. I changed the title. I put some exclamation points in there just so that YouTube doesn't get confused. This is an entirely new stream. All right? Notify my subscribers, YouTube. Do it. Notify them. I really can't stand YouTube and its algorithms. It messes with you, man. It messes with you. But yeah, once we get like five or six people, once the people are in here, we will begin our discussion of the Anglo question, and specifically the fiasco, the tragedy, the retreat of Mauritian Struggle from Twitter.com.
Oh god.
The Anglo modernist whose relatives were bombed on English soil by the IRA.
The evil Gael. He will never support an independent Ireland purely because his grandmother almost got.
Yeah,
his grandmother almost got.
His grandma was accidentally on the same street as a prime minister.
You know, if you were targeted by the IRA and you were almost killed in one of their bombs, I'm just gonna say it outright. You probably deserved it. You were probably up to something. Like,
what do you mean? Those innocent MPs never did anything.
Oh god, those
Probably,
those innocent paratroopers shooting kids in the street. They didn't do nothing. God. So it's like what's amazing to me is like in the 70s and 80s, these guys can basically like. Have you heard the story? There's a guy in the news recently. In the English news, and on all the fucking British boomers and like civnats are like, oh, how dare you prosecute this man? This man is a war veteran. This man served in Northern Ireland. He served his country proudly. How dare you charge him for murder? And it's like, bruh, if you go into some fucking poor disabled kid's house and blow his brains out in front of his mother, you're gonna get charged for murder. like there was this mentally disabled child. This paratrooper walks into this kid's house and gets him on his knees and shoots him in the head in front of his mother. And then 30 years down the line, like boomer UKIP fucking civnats are like, oh my god, how dare you prosecute this man? It's like, it's insane.
No, bro, they support they support UKIP, so they're based.
yeah. They're supporters of Brexit.
Sargon.
So they're based. They support Brexit. They have to be based. Oh, I can't change the armor level of these guys. Okay. Just so you know, everybody who's watching the stream, we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss the Anglo question. We're going to discuss the Anglo question while the Irish are going to get totally owned by the Anglo in medieval two kingdoms for sure. Mauritian, if you have medieval 2, I challenge you to a medieval 2 battle. All right, hit me up. I will beat you in medieval 2. Okay, I will beat you with Mauritian. The Irish roster in medieval 2 kingdoms, Britannia. All right. Britannia, that's Warhammer. You know what I mean.
Britannia. Mauritian, hit me up. I will fight your grandmother right now and finish what I started.
Oh man,
she's been living on borrowed time for too long.
I feel bad that something like that happened, but
I don't.
You can't be like, I am going to support the English subjugation of Ireland.
I'm going to support the English genocide of Catholics while also being a Catholic.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. It's like, man, I understand that you want to be English. You're an Anglo. That's great. That's wonderful. But you got to be an Anglo Catholic. You can't be well, I'm basically an Anglican in communion with Rome. That's what you are when you are an Anglo-Catholic
Spiritually Protestant.
shilling for Anglo-imperialism. And I mean, at the end of the day, man, the Anglos are like, they are the only European race, in my opinion, that fully deserves to just be wiped out by the Muslim immigration. Okay, London having a Muslim mayor is beautiful. I am sure that Cecil Rhodes, he's probably in hell, but still, if he's heard about this, he's probably laughing. Okay, Ian Smith, who unfortunately is probably in hell. Maybe he isn't, but if he's heard of this, he's probably laughing. All right, because I don't think that any of these, all of the good Anglos that you can think of, all of the good products of Anglo imperialism in particular, were shafted and were backstabbed by the Anglo. Rhodesia, for example. I mean, look at what they did to South Africa. Look at what they did to the Boers. Look at America. We had to break free from them, okay, because of taxes. I think the Freemasonic, deistic founding fathers are way better than some Anglo king. I don't understand how Catholics can tell me that some Anglican king is a legitimate king because he's a king. No, the only king that's legitimate in my eyes is one that's Catholic, all right? I'm not going to accept an Anglican king. I'm not going to accept a Protestant king. You're telling me that this is ordained by God? They broke off from God the moment that they became an Anglican, the moment they became a Protestant, the moment they became Orthodox. The only reason I like, the only reason that I would say I kind of like Tsar Nicholas is because the only thing I know about his rule is that he lessened the persecution of Russian Catholics. That's the only thing I know about him. So I'm like, okay, that suits my interests.
I like how the only time England's had a pro-Catholic Anglican king in recent history, they literally just fucking killed him.
Yeah.
Remember King Charles?
God is sending all his prophets to the Jewish people, and they keep fucking killing them. Like God sends prophet after prophet to the Jewish people, and they constantly fucking kill the prophet. And then eventually he sends his own son, and he's like, right, guys, stop killing the prophets. All right, we're gonna teach you. We're gonna teach you the evolution of your religion. And then they fucking killed the son of God.
Yeah,
it's like that with the Anglos. It's like every chance. Like every time they're given a chance to return back to Catholicism, every time they're given a chance to return back to like a legitimate like kingdom, they pick like the objectively worst option. Like they kill the Catholic king, and then immediately after that, or it was either right before that or immediately after that, they just brought the Jews into fucking England, and then they brought them into fucking Parliament. It's like they objectively make the worst decision.
Oh yeah, and where does Freemasonry originate from? The Anglo, who ran the opium trade. The Freemasons. If you, like, for example, Cecil Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes was not a Freemason, but he was, like, a British imperialist. You know what he had to do? He had to build a Freemasonic lodge in Rhodesia. Just had to do it. You have to pay lip service to the Masons. People are like, yeah, the American Revolution was so Masonic. Well, what were the English not Masonic? Where do you think they got the Freemasonry from, dude? Where do you think they got it from? Freemasonry is an English thing. It's all over British imperialism, okay? And listen, I understand that, like, it's really cool that the British had this empire where the sun never sets, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't messed up, and it doesn't mean that their colonies. That's the thing, is that you can say British imperialism is bad and still you don't want the colonies to turn into shit sties. That's what the British wanted. That's what the British wanted to happen to Rhodesia. They were happy about Mugabe getting elected, quote unquote elected, right? They abandoned their colonies because they were imperialists in how people use imperialist derogatively. It was purely exploitative. When these people of British stock, of the same race, the same ethnicity, same heritage, attached to that island based on their heritage. When they said, we want our independence, we want to be able to do things our own way. Other than Canada and Australia, horrific. It's like, whoa, wait a second. Like Canada and Australia are their only successful projects, and Canada and Australia are incredibly insignificant.
Yeah, they're literally the most.
What about New Zealand?
Australia and Canada are the two countries probably tied with Germany in like the desperate fight for relevancy, world relevancy, and nobody gives a fuck about them. One of them had to wage 2 wars to try find relevancy. But like you were saying about like imperialism, like it does evoke something, like this massive empire. It evokes something, and obviously because I was a victim of it, I am a 4th generation famine survivor.
Wow.
because my people were a victim of it. like I would probably be. I am really against.
Oh, guys, get out of there! You're gonna get shot by your own Irish laddies.
But at the same time, if you are going to be imperialist, at least don't do it in the most Semitic way possible, where you just go in there and you fucking suck the bone marrow out of these countries and then just leave them, and then you leave them so bad that it destabilizes Europe 100 years later.
Yeah.
Like you've left these places such a shithole that like England has left. Like England's problem, well, that wasn't even their problem. Like when England left these places, it didn't bother them. It really didn't bother them because they already had bled these fucking places dry. So now England leaves, and their
companies stay. By the way, their companies stay. Both English and French companies are all over their former colonies. The French Foreign Legion defends their former colonies.
Yeah, and they continue to just siphon off any like wealth that these countries have, and then 100 years later, all these British fucking, like, I'm putting like air quotes around nationalists, but like these British nationalists are just like standing there like in fucking awe that like they have created this monster that is now dragging Europe to its death. Like they've literally created this problem that we're dealing with. British imperialism and French imperialism
back to the good old days.
Has created this European collapse that we're witnessing now, because it's left nations in places like sub-Saharan Africa that just cannot survive without millions upon millions, I think it's even billions at this point, of just Western aid being poured in every year. And then, now that the aid isn't even good enough, we're dealing with millions of them just coming across the fucking borders and destabilizing the native populations of these places. And in my opinion, it's not even my opinion, it's fucking fact that it is the Anglos' fault. It is the imperialist Anglos' fault for, short-term gain and then long-term civilizational collapse.
I'm sorry, the way this guy... the killing animations in this game are funny. Yeah, you're seeing it?
It's like the guy is just fucking backflipping the minute they get hit with the helmet.
Yeah. The way that these peasants are dying, man.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, is that, like, again, it's you might say that, well, decolonization is responsible for the modern issue when it comes to, why Europe is being, like, flooded, why Europe and America, basically places that are wealthy, are being flooded with people from, these poor, suffering African and, Latin American nations. Now, the thing is, it's like, the reason this is happening is not necessarily colonization, it's decolonization. But when you're doing colonization, when you're doing imperialism for an exploitative reason, decolonization makes sense, because you're giving an illusion of independence while you're maintaining the financial exploitation, right? You no longer have to put anything in, you just exploit. Colonization before decolonization was, yeah, we are making money off of this project, but we're also going to build roads, and we're going to have an established government, and we're going to have a military presence, we're going to preserve law and order, etc. Now, none of that. Now it's, we're going to protect our financial interests with, like, security and stuff like that, and we'll help the sort of, like, hilarious regime that we've established, the completely illegitimate, like, was voted in once, question mark, regime. And yeah, we'll help them against any sort of like insurgencies they have, but other than that, it's a circus show. And what happens is that all of these people who have not been provided any sort of education, because the education programs for colonies, especially in Africa, I'm mostly talking about Africa, because you could say that the decolonization of South America was less of a willing thing. They had to fight wars for that, I'm pretty sure. I don't know anything about it though, so I'm not qualified to talk. But Africa I know a lot about. And like with Africa, like the programs to educate the native African people and slowly pull them away from their like traditional way of living, because they didn't want to like crush their traditional way of living. Look at like Rhodesia, and look at like East Africa. You read accounts of people living in East African colonies. There's just Africans that are like, you know, herding. They're still herding. They're still going around the country with their herds. They're still eating cow milk. Not cow milk, cow blood, excuse me, and stuff like that. They're still living like that. But there was this slow, like, okay, we're gonna build schools for them, we're gonna educate them, and we're gonna start to uplift them. But that all ended with decolonization, because decolonization is like, okay, we need to rapidly desegregate everything, we need to rapidly give them control, and I think it's entirely intentional, because you're giving people that are not fit to rule power, and they're going to rely on foreign aid and foreign support to maintain their regimes. And how do they buy this foreign support? By just allowing the exploitation to continue without any of the benefits. So it was just a mess. And yeah, the Anglos are to blame for it. And you know, the Anglo, man, there's so much to say about the Anglo.
To be fair, all of the dictators like Idi Amin and the absolute insane madmen like Mugabe, they learn very well from their former masters, I guess you could say. Like when all that's happening in your country for hundreds of years is just massive exploitation, and then you're some dirt poor shit farmer who like ends up head of a military coup and gets into power, you're not gonna give a shit about fucking your country. I'm sorry, but you're not, because you haven't been taught anything about your country, and especially because these places aren't even real nations. Let's be honest; they're basically fake land buffers, or just like
or like
regions.
Groups, yeah.
They're not even drawn around ethnic lines. So you could have one, like look what happened in Rwanda. Like you have countries that are just ethnic melting pots, with just
that are about to boil over.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have this idea of a nation. When England leaves, there's no idea of a nation left there.
I'm sorry.
There was no nation there in the beginning.
I'm a little disappointed. We only killed 42% of the Anglos this battle. I couldn't get them all. Look, they're all escaping through the invisible wall that I'm not allowed to pursue them through. That's some Freemasonic occultic sorcery. They got Aleister Crowley to make that wall to stop us from slaughtering them, from cutting them down.
See, that's the portal to hell, and we don't want to cross that red line. That's the Anglo retreating back to hell.
Retreating back to hell. I'm gonna tab out and
if
see
we
what the
cross
chat has
over
to say.
there, there's a chance we'll become Anglo ourselves.
Earn your way to the top survival. Tanner's has a weird accent because he's from Ireland.
Yeah.
Really? Well done. You're very intuitive.
Listen, he has to survive every day in the woods. That's how he knows.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Huey. Huey, I just saw your donation. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm sorry about like the delayed response. But next time, please use the bit.ly link and just donate directly on PayPal. You just gave 40 cents to Google. Okay, they give me 60%.
It's 46%.
Yes, they take like 40%.
40 cents.
Yeah, they take 40%, right? So I got like 60 cents from that donation, probably.
Put your Bitly thing in the description, because I am.
You're right.
I don't think anybody is bothered to like
type it in.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put it in the description. I just
you gotta think like the 3-letter people.
Yeah,
you gotta think.
Right. I like how I just put it in the chat and it like highlights my name in it. Okay. But like
something's wrong here. Billy couldn't find a link for the Bitly URL you clicked.
Yeah, the reason I have the super chats on is because if you donate through this, well, I haven't turned them off, but if you donate through them, it's added onto my ad revenue. So that does help me get paid eventually for the ad revenue. I have to make 100 in ad revenue to get a payout for that. Yeah, okay. Your nose, we don't want your nose to keep growing, Huey. Renegade, well, we're talking about the Anglos, but I think we should talk specifically about Mauritian. And I know Tanner's was probably there for the entire fiasco. I was only there occasionally.
What the fuck
See,
happened?
I was there.
please
I
tell
was
us.
there for the Irish Twitter fiasco. I wasn't there. I don't know if any of you guys were there for the SSPX fiasco.
We can get Jerome. I'm gonna tell Jerome.
Yeah.
Jerome, we need you in this call to give us a rundown on Mauritian's autism.
But I
hopefully he'll
can
reply.
tell you
But
guys
tell us about
about
the Irish
the Irish
Mauritian
Twitter beef
and the Irish Twitter beef.
So I had no idea who this guy was about 2-3 days ago. Like, I've seen him around, but I didn't know he had 2,300 fucking followers. I didn't know that much, and I didn't know he was fucking spiritually Protestant either. But someone invited him into some like cross community like healing group chat that I'm in with a bunch of fucking prods, and he was in there for about 5 minutes. I saw that there were Irish people in that chat, and then immediately began to have an autistic breakdown.
Really?
Like, yeah, like, I mean, immediately, like, he so it's like that thing where, like, you know that meme where it's like fucking, a civilized conversation between X and Y,
Yeah.
and then MauritianStruggle comes in here shitting on the walls. Like, he came in there looking for a fight. I don't know about his profile pic, Mr. Shire, but I don't follow Anglo, celebrities or historical figures. But he came in and he just started like fucking his spaghetti all over the floor, straight out of his pockets. Started like, oh, your country doesn't fit my personal definition of what a nation is, therefore get cooked. Like, and he started saying real cringe like Sivnat boomer shit, and I'll scroll up eventually. Like, I mean, he was saying stuff like, oh, the nation, like, I remember saying to him, like, right, and I said it to him again in the Twitter argument we had in the timeline. Like, I said to him, like, right, like, we have our own dress code, we had our own political system, we had our own music, our food, our own architecture, our own, like, political system, like, our own laws, our own law system, completely different to English common law.
Oh yeah.
And this stuff lasts for millennia. And I ask him, like, if all of these things don't make a nation, like a sovereign nation, what does? And apparently the only thing for MauritianStruggle, the only thing that makes a nation is, and I quote, he literally just posted, the rulers. The
Really?
rulers makes a nation.
Oh, that's absurd.
It is. And then I like, my autism was triggered at this point. because he clearly doesn't know anything about any kind of history, like, because for almost 1,600 years, 2,000 years, Ireland had a high king. Like, Ireland had a high king for God knows how long, for millennia, and all strong Catholic rulers, ever since St. Patrick. Even I think a century before St. Patrick, Catholicism came to Ireland. But, like, for up until like the 1600s, there were still like the O'Neills. They weren't really the High Kings, but they were the family they were essentially the royal family at that point. But up until, I think, the Norman invasions, there was still a High King after that. But we're talking like 1400s. We still had a High King. And he was like, he obviously had no fucking clue, and he was trying to call like the kings illegitimate, like the Irish High Kings illegitimate somehow. If I could, I'm gonna see if I can go back on his tweets, but I'm trying to remember what he said now, because I can't get the tweets anymore because he's fucking deleted.
He
them.
deleted his account. Yeah.
Deleted his account. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he said.
That is such a, I don't know why, but that just seems so embarrassing to me to delete your account on Twitter.com.
Yeah, but he was he basically said, obviously I've said it before. He said that the only way he would, describe a nation or define a nation is by its rulers. And then I gave him like a 1,000-year rundown of like Irish kings and rulers.
Yeah.
And then he tried to call them illegitimate. And, like,
Why? How?
he said that Brian Boru like ruled for like 5 minutes, and then he died, and the High Kingship fell apart after that, which is just a complete. Either he was lying, or he just doesn't know anything, because Brian Boru ruled for 12 years. 12
No,
years.
bro, he only stopped the English invasion and then immediately died.
He stopped a Viking invasion.
Oh yeah, the
his
Viking.
son, Baru, his son, and his grandson, his entire bloodline, died in battle at the Battle of Clontarf.
Yeah.
All 3 of them died in battle defending Ireland, and he has the audacity to say that like he didn't actually fight for. He didn't know what Ireland was, or what the nation or the Kingdom of Ireland was, which is bullshit, because fucking they fought the Vikings in Clontarf, and if I remember correctly, Baru was from the other side of the fucking country. Crew wasn't from anywhere near Clontarf. And then he says, the High Kingship fell apart after that, and no, it didn't, because the O'Neills took the throne again. The royal family that was, the royal family for years, went back and just took the throne. So
What a concept! No way.
yeah, it's not like the royal family just took back the throne, is it? It's not like what secession. What's that word? I don't fuck the word is secession. Succession, not secession. Like not like fucking good old Dixie secession. Like, but the High Kingship was totally untouched. It was completely legitimate. Like, the High Kingship is a lot more legitimate than the fucking Protestant rulers that England has, considering the High Kings were all Catholic. Well, after Catholicism came to Ireland, they were all Catholic. But he basically goes on this spur out. He realizes he's wrong, and he eventually realizes that he's owning himself. He's posting cringe, bro. All of his interactions with me got no likes, like nothing. All of my interactions with him got like 8 to 10 likes.
So he got ratioed.
From what I'm gathering, this guy. Okay, at least I got some more information on that army composition. That spy, unfortunately, was discovered by the Anglos. They figured out. They looked and they saw that he was Irish, and they killed him. But what I'm gathering here is that Mauritian is not just like apologetic to the English sort of subjugation of Ireland. He is supportive of it. He thinks that it's 100% legitimate, and he's trying to claim that based on some basically historical illiteracy, that Ireland has never had any legitimate kings. And he seems to not understand that distinct groups of people and distinct cultures exist. They do not require a leader. They do not require a hierarchy to exist. And you cannot blame them for not having that hierarchy if they are being subjugated by another people. Okay,
if there's an actual anti-Catholic genocide happening, and the thing that really annoys me is he is a Catholic.
Yeah.
And every single war against the English that the Irish have taken part in was a just holy war. Like everything in Catholic law, has no problem. Like, fully supports the waging of these wars. They're just wars, just holy wars. There was nothing that the Irish did wrong. And yes, there were massacres, but there were fucking massacres in every war. Even go back to the Crusades, there were massacres. But and he is there as a Catholic, actively going against the Vatican, because I don't know if you know this, but for hundreds of years the Vatican sent aid to the Irish armies fighting the English. All the way up to the famine. The Vatican
by the
sent
way,
aid.
Tanner's, this is completely unrelated, but On Your Way to the Top Survive wants to know. He read a news article saying that it's easier to buy illegal guns in Ireland than pizza. Is that true? Or can you not answer? That would be
no, I
it's a
can't
dangerous
answer.
question to answer.
It's pretty fucking easy to buy pizza.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's
unfortunate.
Irish pizza any good? You got like an Irish pizza thing?
No.
Oh,
All
damn.
Irish pizza is trash. There's a place near me and it's all trash. We have Domino's, which is also trash. Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Hey, Domino's donates to the Catholic Church. I bet their CEO goes to trad
I
masses.
take it all back.
He
You know,
takes it all
unironically-
back.
Unironically, Papa John's is probably among the best pizza in Ireland.
Papa John are lazy. BN, not work hard, study.
But yeah,
No,
I'm just checking the chat right now, and Gio, Mauritian has a Patreon because he has a YouTube channel. He makes some sort of YouTube, like he makes YouTube videos. I've never seen any of them. I don't know.
Bro,
If
we have to watch one or two of them.
Okay. Well, let me go see if there's any.
Well,
that are on his channel that are
I'll
gonna
have a
be
look
really
through
bad.
them.
Yeah. If there's any that are really bad, I'll see about putting it on the stream.
Yeah.
By the way, anybody who has been watching me play Medieval 2 in the background, the reason that I restarted the campaign is because you can attack Derry on the first turn if you move your armies in a certain way. And I just mispronounced it, didn't I? How do you pronounce it? Tanners? How do I pronounce it?
Well, pronounce what?
Derry. Yeah, did I pronounce it right?
Derry.
Yeah, okay,
Derry.
all right. You were snickering a little bit. I thought I
I
mispronounced something.
I was snickering at your man's YouTube channel.
Mauritian. Well, I wouldn't call him my man. I mean, he was
Like,
a mutual
I mean,
for a brief second.
He's
and
got
then
he's
his
got a
takes-
42.
his
He's got
takes.
a he's got a 42-minute video on, and it's entitled "Choosing Between Orthodoxy and Catholicism." Now, I can make the same video in 5 seconds. The Orthodoxy is gay. Become Catholic. That's all that you need to know.
Bro, Jay Dyer's going to block us.
That's cool, dude.
Oh yeah, Jay Dyer is subscribed to this channel. He's commented on my video like back when I've never been Orthodox, but when I was Eastern Catholic, I am still Eastern Catholic. What am I saying? When I was first coming into Catholicism, I was coming into a Ruthenian Rite Catholic Church, and because of the fact it was Eastern, I thought I could appreciate some Eastern things. So I uploaded me reading a chapter from Nihilism by Father Seraphim Rose, and Jay Dyer's there in the comments section. I made a video on how Gnosticism relates to the fall from the garden. Jay Dyer's in the comment section. Jay Dyer follows me on Twitter. I hope he doesn't see this stream or some of the tweets I made about Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer, I like esoteric Hollywood. I really like your content about movies and about TV shows. I do not like your theology, okay? I do not like Gregory Palamas. It's all right. We can still be Twitter mutuals, man. You don't gotta block me. Don't block me. Don't block me.
There's ever since I started, recently, I've been going off on the Orthodox a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Let's be honest, it's taken up most of my timeline for the last 3 weeks. There's been two kind of responses. There's been two main people who won't get out my mentions. Unfortunately and surprisingly, Jay Dyer isn't one of them. One of them is a 15-year-old Albanian communist. And he keeps getting he came in one day and started making fun of the Irish IQ. And if you don't know anything about the Irish IQ is, I think it was tested to be 97, but they only tested school children, so that was pretty, unbiased, pretty fair. But the Albanian came in and started making fun of the Irish IQ, and then all you need is a simple Google search to find out that the Albanian average IQ is between 79 and 83. and then someone mentioned it to him, and he went absolutely apeshit. And then the other person is some Norman, some basically Angloid, I'm doing the finger thing, air quotes, some Angloid, Gael. I use the term Gael very lightly because he's 50% English, and he's also a Russian Orthodox through some miracle, and he's one of those Russophiles that thinks Putin is based. And I don't know, Yayo, have you seen that image that I keep posting when people say that to me?
That Putin's based.
There's an image I keep posting.
With the abortion rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the top heroin consumer, number one exporter of sex slaves.
Yeah, Russia isn't very based. Dugan, by the way, is bad. Dugan, this is just something I learned from one of my buddies. Oh, we lost one of our horsemen, one of our general's bodyguard. That's okay. They are the fastest to actually regenerate losses in the game. So, as long as we don't lose the general, they're kind of expendable. But what the hell was I gonna say? So, the thing with Alexander Dugin, right, is that Alexander Dugin is like one of those Zionists who wants to bring about like the end times, but Alexander Dugin wants the Eurasian Empire to be the seat of the Antichrist. Like seriously, that's what that guy believes. He wants it to be the seat of the Antichrist. But anyway, yeah. You can continue, man. I just wanted to interject a little bit about the Russian question.
I think we agree on Russia, and I really hate Dugin. I don't know much about him, but I know about what you just said, and that is enough to make me hate him. I don't think you really need to know anymore.
Yeah.
The other guy who won't get out of my mentions is, I think his name was, probably still is, Glendalough Orthodox, and he's basically this half English, like, mixed race, 50% human. This can I say these things on the stream?
It's fine. This will just be unlisted like all my other questionable,
that's
controversial
fine,
streams.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But he's basically this half mutt Irishman, and I use that term very loosely, who's this massive Russophile, and he keeps talking in like really like highfalutin language, like really like highbrow. I'm better. It's like the Protestant. It's like the fucking Englishman talking to the Mick, like to try and confuse you. And he keeps asking me to debate him. And every time I've told him to talk like a human fucking being, he just stops replying to me, because he can only talk in this weird Semitic tongue designed to confuse you. Yeah. He wants to debate you on
Catholicism versus Orthodoxy.
There was an argument being had between us, and it was essentially on, look, Russian Orthodoxy, a little bit of KGB infiltration there, and it's basically just an arm of the state. That's my opinion. It's a state control. It's a state-controlled religion, and it's been completely. There's no divinity or spirituality in it. It's a tool of the state.
I think the laity. I think like the laity or the. What would you say, lay Orthodox? Like the average Orthodox Christian can definitely have like spirituality and be religious,
of course.
But their hierarchy is more subverted than the Catholic hierarchy, because it's KGB. Like the thing is that the papacy is an independent institution. If we can clean up the papacy, then we're gonna be fine. But with them, it's like it's just a wing of the KGB now. What are you going to do?
An interesting point is these Orthodox LARPers on Twitter will be the first one, especially the non-Russian ones. The non-Russian ones are actually the most fanatical about it, which is just like how Islam works.
Yeah.
Notice all the suicide bombers for ISIS weren't actually from Syria or Iraq. Well, the majority weren't. Most of them are foreign fighters. It's the same here. It's like the non-Russian Orthodox, what do you call them? Orthos, whatever the fuck. They're the most fanatical, and they will die on the hill. They will be like, oh, but Stalin infiltrated the Catholic Church, and that's why you have the homo clergy.
Stalin infiltrated the Catholic Church.
No,
what does that say about the Orthodox?
No, but they refute. That's the thing. They'll be like, ha, Stalin infiltrated your church. Look at all this evidence. And then you'll be like, yeah, but what did he do to the Russian church? And they'll be like, oh, nothing. Oh, he didn't touch the church.
You respected it. Stalin was based.
Stalin was based. Stalin, Russia's pure-blooded son of Russia. I hate them so much. If it weren't for the laws of this land, I would strike them down.
We make camp here, lads.
Oops.
What about Greek Orthodox? I don't know much about the Greek Orthodox. I know they're a lot. I prefer the Greek Orthodox to the Russian Orthodox renegade.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them either.
Yeah. The good thing about the Greek Orthodox is they know their place, and they don't try to be anywhere near as autistic or annoying as the Russian Orthodox, especially on Twitter.
They know their place.
They know.
There's a schism going on too, so...
I think that comes from hundreds of years of Ottoman rule. Just a guess.
Yeah, it's humbled them.
Oh, fuck.
They've been humbled enough already.
Oh, man. Get off this piece of shit chair. I need to get a desk chair. I literally have. I went into an antique shop and I bought like an antique wicker chair instead of a desk chair, and it's the noisiest fucking thing ever. It's like it keeps coming through on the mic, and it's like it's fucking breaking under you. But God.
Oh no, we had riots in Derry. What a
That's a
tragedy.
usual occurrence.
Aye, Lord.
Give them beer.
Give them beer.
That should solve most issues.
They won't exacerbate them at all.
Let's see. Can I recruit mercenaries here? There's no
Shame
mercenaries.
continental geopolitics is. I'm just reading the chat here. Someone says shame continental geopolitics is basically synonymous with Duganism. Yeah, unironically. What's really annoying is like there's a lot of people who fucking love Russia for some reason. I don't know why. It's a failed state.
Base.
Yeah, it's based, bro. Russia is so based.
It's based because it hates the gay man. Well,
That's about it.
like, that's it. That's all. That's the only thing about Russia is like, oh, what homosexuality is illegal. Yeah, well, like we don't look at Saudi Arabia and be like, yo, Saudi Arabia, wow, based.
Yeah.
You know, we look at Saudi Arabia, it's like, wow, puppet of Israel.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. Just because there's a country, and I use the term. Oh god, like if I ever get doxxed, this stream is gonna have me like in prison or something. But like just because like I'm not gonna use the term white, just because a European, and even that is a step too far, to be honest. Even like, okay, so one Eastern Tatar Golden Horde nation hates gay people. Wow, thank you. We should support them. We should. I don't care if they do all the heroin. If they do 70% of the heroin, like fucking imported from Pakistan, they're based. And
Yeah,
don't let
they're
anybody tell
based.
you any different. I don't care
Scratch
if
a
they
Russian, find a Tartar.
I don't care if they have the second highest abortion rates in the world next to fucking China. They're based, and don't let anybody tell you different. Fucking hate them.
Alexander, the main reason we're talking about Russian Orthodoxy is because Russian Orthodoxy is the biggest, it's the most prominent Orthodoxy, okay? And in my opinion, like, look, I don't think that I think that the main issue with the Orthodox is that they don't have, their hierarchy is kind of corrupted. Now, of course, I have personal issues with Gregory Palamas and that theology, but that theology is so high level that a layperson shouldn't have to worry about it. They shouldn't have to worry about whether or not there is a distinction between the energies and essences of God. Like that's for like theologians to worry about. But the big issue with Orthodoxy is that because it doesn't have an institution like we have, the papacy, it is very easily controlled by the state. The only time the papacy has nearly been controlled by a state is when the Holy Roman Empire was being founded. And that was a very, very temporary thing. But if you look at Orthodoxy's history, you have, I think it's called Caesaro-papism, where it's like basically the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Emperor has as much influence on the Orthodox Church as the patriarchs, as the bishops, as the priests. And I don't think that's right. And then after the Byzantine Empire falls, of course, you have the Turks, and then you have the Russians, and then you have all of these states where it becomes a very state-orientated and ethnic-orientated religion and church. And that doesn't mean that if you walk into one of their churches, it's corrupted or anything. It just means that it isn't standing outside of it's not standing next to the secular world. It is part of the secular world, right? When we think of church and state, the church is independent from the state and the state independent from the church, but they are acting in balance of each other, right? If the church is getting on the state for doing something wrong, the state listens. If the state gets on the church for doing something wrong, the church might listen, or the state might listen. You're having a balance of these two institutions. With Orthodoxy, it's just kind of, it is an institution of the state. It is part of the state.
Yeah. And look, people really gloss over this fact, but if you have a state moderating the word of God, you know, there's big red flags there.
That's
and
not
if
bueno.
That's not bueno. Like, how can your church be any way what's legitimate if it's being censored by the state that it's in? And at the same time, there's no doubt, and this is just, we're talking about being state controlled in the 21st century, which it is. There's plenty of evidence that like, even, but to go back to the communist infiltration, when you have like hundreds of sources of spies and, you know, double agents coming out like, oh, I was recruited by this Orthodox bishop in America, you know, or I was recruited by this Orthodox bishop in Lithuania, and how every single patriarch was handpicked by the KGB. You know, that's that's damning. I wouldn't put that down to fucking American propaganda, to be honest.
Jay Dyer seems to think that the CIA is behind everything, and then there's people who think that the KGB is behind everything. In reality, both of the institutions, you don't want to trust the KGB or the CIA.
No.
They're both bad. They're both responsible for a lot of these bad situations. Oh my, that's the garrison they have in there. That's pathetic.
Is
That
Anglicism
really pathetic.
state controlled? Renegade, I see, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not an expert on the Protestant cinematic universe and their 10,000 sects.
The
If I remember
Protestant
correctly,
cinematic universe.
If I remember correctly, Anglicism is the one created by Henry because he just wanted to fuck.
Yeah.
If you're asking if that's the one that's state controlled, I would definitely say yes.
Yeah,
At least in the beginning.
Like-
It's a made up religion by some horny ginger.
Nowadays, Anglicanism is basically, I mean, there are definitely some high church Anglicans that they should just become Catholic. But the like everyday Anglican, it's just pause central. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect?
The Lutheran
Red King isn't a pinnacle of Christian moralism to you?
Oh no, we have to tell the stream about Red King now. The Anglo who is thirsty
Fed
for
King.
any brown woman. Fed King. Fed King. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Fed
every
King.
every time that there's this new Anglo-Irish chat, like he just lamps the big names from the Irish Twitter group and then the big names from like Spoons Nation and Anglo Twitter, and he puts them in a group chat, and I can only assume it's for information harvesting.
Information harvesting. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I don't think Red King is a Fed. Nobody in the stream understands what we're talking about right now. Red King is a perpetually horny Anglican
See, I've
who
never
really
seen this.
wants to race mix. He really wants to race mix. Okay, this guy really wants to race mix. Okay, he is obsessed with all types of women. He can't speak English, by the way. He speaks broken English despite the fact that he is English. I've never understood
Yeah, he's
that.
not English.
Oh, we're
He's
going in the hole.
KGB.
We are about to go broke.
I remember he used to DM me out of nowhere, and like he'd talk to me how somebody would think an English person would talk, like how like the stereotypical English person would talk. You know, and I've always got the bang of Fed off him, but you obviously know more lore to Fed King. Than
Oh yeah,
me.
because he's in one of the group chats we're in, and Geo can tell you all about him.
He asks me personal questions about my relationship, and it makes me uncomfortable.
He does that with everybody. Anybody who has a girlfriend, he's like, "Can we talk about women?"
But it's more so the type of questions he'll ask.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. All right, all I've got to do is take Dublin and Anthrunry, and then I'll have all of England under my control, and I can start moving to just exterminate populace all over this part of the island, this part of England. We're not going to touch the Scottish. The Scottish can go free.
But I'd love to see what Oh, you saw the statement by Mauritian Struggle, didn't you?
Yes. Go ahead and go over that for everybody in the chat. That way we're staying on topic.
Yeah. So I obviously we'll wait for Jerome if he's coming on, because he would know more about this than me.
He hasn't replied to me. I don't think he's going to get on.
Oh, that's awful. Let me just go into my mentions straight.
Jesus was not Russian Orthodox. Jesus Christ established the Catholic Church by giving the keys to Peter. Thank you very much.
No, he was Anglican.
Yeah, no, he was Baptist.
He was Zoroastrian, I'll have you know.
Oh no,
Now-
oh no, the Gnostics are out.
The Albigensian Crusade was necessary.
100%
Not only was it
justified.
necessary, it was a net good. So Mauritian struggle. Just to let people know, I have deleted Twitter. In short, it is because although I put out bait a lot on there,
Bait,
the reaction from
in
trads
quotations.
being baited in the same way as I have occasionally baited others was disappointing to the point of anger. It's like the thing that, like, you know, her, I'm a retard, fuck off, retard, jokes on him, I was only pretending.
Yeah.
It's, he baits people.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
baits
He's just
people.
baiting people. It's just
He
bait.
baits people, and then he's like, "Ooh no, ooh no, the trads are angry." Like,
The trads, they're being mean to me.
all right, I'm gonna tweet out bait, and then I'm gonna delete my account when people start bullying me for baiting them. Like, fucking hell. Like, okay, so now he talks about how high IQ his bait is. So, when I place bait, I would write in a purposefully indirect way, which I figured people would be used to. Boy, was I wrong. The sheer
Boy,
level
was
of
I wrong.
the sheer level of disrespect from many for the Pope, for the Magisterium, and for the bishops is not only thoroughly disgusting, but also borderline schismatic. The temerity of such people in the undermining of the leadership makes the fannying about quote of some of the non-trads look good. Fucking if me thinking that the Pope is valid and Vatican II is valid in spite of calling for things like throwing adulterers into prison and advocating for the public execution of former Cardinal McCarrick makes me Massimo Fagioli or Susan from the parish sorry or Susan from the parish council, then frankly I have no need of interacting with you because you are a smooth brain.
Yes, a smooth brain.
Sir, you are a smooth brain. This is my statement to the world. The statement that the Trinity in Mass could cause a schism is true, precisely because of the same smooth brains. He really likes that word, he uses this quite a lot. Because the same smooth brains who despise the hierarchy, i.e. that church guided by the Holy Spirit, for an admittedly understandable reason, is not something that is refutable. This is especially true since in most of the world the TLM is the one returning.
What does he mean?
There
Does
we-
he mean that's a bad
I-
thing?
I have no idea, so I'm gonna read that again and see if you can understand it, because this is all going over my head. The statement that the Trinity in Mass could cause a schism is true, precisely because of the same smooth brains who despise the hierarchy, i.e. the church guided by the Holy Spirit, for an admittedly understandable reason, is not something that is refutable? I don't know. This is especially true since in most of the world the TLM is the one returning. I would assume he's not talking about SSPX with the TLM thing. I assume just that the TLM is becoming more popular than the Novus Ordo. But you know, I think he's definitely wrong. Like, you know, the statement that the Trinity Mass causes schism is true. Like, I don't think people in the SSPX despise the idea of hierarchy.
Yeah,
I think
not at all.
you would lean more towards SSPX than me. I think we've had an argument about this where I
Yeah.
was intellectually shit on.
Jerome would be the better guy to have on about that, or
Yeah, he
anybody
would.
that I know that is, you know, knows about the SSPX. I mean, I'm a Ruthenian
Yeah.
Catholic, so I don't even go to an SSPX parish. But to me, it just seems so kind of despicable that you have these people who are just so willing to attack the order that, you know, preserved the Latin Mass. I've went to conferences where, you know, these people that are way older than us, like they're boomer age, but they're like the boomer trads. They were receiving the Latin Mass in a basement, you know, like that was the situation.
Yeah.
We didn't have this where you can just go to an FSSP or an IKS or whatever, you know, Institute of Christ the King. Like there weren't all of these Latin Masses all over America and Europe. Like you had to, if you wanted to receive that, you had to. It was underground for quite a little bit. So I don't understand why
there's-
it's just kind of ignored.
See, I go to a Latin mass. I go to a Latin mass. They were still around in Ireland. They've still been around in Ireland for a while. But that's because Ireland is like a deeply Catholic nation. Like I'd say, probably the most Catholic nation outside of the Vatican in Europe for quite a while. So our Latin mass tradition has kind of survived without the SSPX being needed. But like I go to Latin mass, and I'm not quite sure what denomination it is, but I know that the Dominicans do a Latin mass. I know the Dominicans are usually good. Political wise, I believe they're the ones who started denying people who vote for abortion communion, which is good. But yeah, like what? I don't know, like I don't like Mauritian Struggle's kind of like libertarian fucking Catholicism.
Libertarian
guess that's-
Catholicism. What would that even
that's
mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
What do I mean by that? Like, it's hard to describe. Like just from looking at him the last few days, he seems like a very lax person and is more willing to attack, the fundamentalists rather than the fucking people who do fuck all. The people who are like peripherary Catholics. Like people who, oh, I'm a Catholic, but I go to mass at Christmas.
Yeah.
He won't I haven't seen him attack them, which who I have seen him attack. SSPX, some may be schismatic, some may be SEDS. But,
yeah,
at least
there are individuals that go to SSPX masses that are sedevacantists. Like,
Yeah.
But saying that the SSPX is sedevacantists or schismatic is just it's inaccurate. As an organization, it isn't.
As an organization, yeah. There are some priests in Ireland who are schismatic, but as an organization, I wouldn't go as far to call them schismatic. But he's got this real liberal idea of Catholicism where he doesn't want to fucking.
Which church which church is most down with the kilt? I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
By the way, Earn Your Way to the Top Survival, everybody, you should maybe check out his channel. He wears a kilt, and he lives off the land. The guy is definitely earning his way to the top. Survival. He really is.
Oh god. But he seems it's that Anglo that Anglo curse that they always long for liberality or whatever the fuck the word is, but like he seems to attack the fanaticists and the people who actually want to impose like hard laws rather than the people who do fucking nothing. And I think I obviously I haven't seen a lot of his tweets because I only learned about him in the last few days, but he seems to be attacking people who would be fundamentalist rather than attacking people who would be doing absolutely nothing on a Sunday. He has thousands of Protestant followers. They like hundreds of them, hundreds of Anglo Protestant followers, and he doesn't say a word to them badly. From what I've seen, like he has pagan Anglo followers, he has Protestant Anglo followers, and I haven't seen him attack them. But I have seen him attack Jerome, and I have seen him attack Catholic fundamentalists.
Yeah.
So it says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's just a big section of, like, I guess you'd call them our version of like purity spiralers maybe, where it's like they're just antagonizing people who are a little more serious about things than others. And you see it all over Catholic Twitter, where it's like, yeah, I go to Latin Mass, but some of those traditionalists, they go a little too far. And it gets to the point where, like, Mauritian, you should go get some brunches in Manhattan with the left cats. You should go get a brunch with them.
Yeah.
Because
does he go to TLM?
I think so. I think he's like, yeah, the SSPX didn't have to preserve the Latin Mass in England because we were allowed to have the Latin Mass. It's like, okay, all right. So what? That doesn't change the fact that you can't just say that Lefebvre and the SSPX were not part of the Latin Mass preservation and the revival that we see today. Just because you live in England, what is England the only thing that matters? Clearly to him, because
Yeah, but I don't know much about the SSPX outside of Ireland. I actually
Are they
don't think
are they
there's
even in Ireland?
there are, but a lot of them in the north. I haven't seen many in Dublin. I think there's some in Dublin, but I don't actually know anything about them. I know the ones up the north are basically run out of basements. There's one on the
Really?
Falls Road. There's one on the Falls Road that's run out of a fucking basement.
Wow.
Up in Belfast. And I know the priest there is an American one, and he is, I think he's an actual said. I don't know, but I think I've heard that he is, but I wouldn't, be able to say for certain. But yeah, like I could definitely understand how I could definitely understand how like SSPX may not be needed in England, Ireland as much as it would have been needed in places like America
Yeah, yeah.
or
Yeah, I just
places where
I don't
Catholicism never
understand.
was.
I don't understand how like when you're doing things, you should be like productive. I just don't think anything Mauritian has done has been productive whatsoever.
No,
can't really think of
it's been pro fucking British Protestantism. It's been pro Paisley, pro genocide of Catholics in Ireland. That's what he is. He's a Catholic who's pro genocide of Catholics.
Is there anything else that we can say about the Anglo question? We've been on about it for an hour now, so maybe it's time to take some new topics from the chat.
What?
You 16 people who are here, please, give us some stuff to talk about, because I think we've really, gone over the Anglo question, the AQ, and Mauritian struggle, and the sort of like drama alert, Twitter drama.
Yeah.
Just
I think
amusing stuff.
I think I've probably said the same stuff about 5 times in the last hour. To be honest.
Yeah, but hey, that's what a live stream is. It's not concise like an
Yeah.
actual video. It's just kind of hanging out with people in the chat.
Bomb
Okay.
Iran.
Oh, no,
Bomb
Huey.
Iran.
No.
Personally, and I'd like to the PSNI and MI5 handlers and people watching this. I personally believe that Iran blew up that ship, and I fully support war with Iran.
I don't want us to bomb Iran. I don't want us to go to war
No.
with
No.
Iran. That sounds horrible. That sounds atrocious. No.
It would be- Like, I think it's insane that they fucking think that they can get away with this. The audacity of this. The balls that America and England have to think they can get away, and that we're still stupid enough to fucking believe. Actually, I think people are stupid enough to believe this. The majority of people I've talked to don't think it happened, or don't think it was Iran that did it. And if that reflects the rest of the fucking world, then they're not going to get away with it this time. We can only hope. But my God, like, can you imagine, like, yeah, this is going to be our 6th false flag in like half a century. They're not going to fall for it this time, boys. We're going to get away with it. Fucking no, it didn't happen. The
reports those damn Anglos.
I was about to say something to be arrested there. I'm gonna stop.
What are does Ireland have any of those hate speech laws?
No, but they're coming in.
Really, they're bringing.
We
them.
we do have one that isn't enforced at all.
Okay.
But they're bringing them in soon. So that's probably when my Twitter is gonna disappear off the face of the earth.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, I've got another year or two, and then when that law is passed, I'm outie. I'm outie.
Doubting folks.
I'm outie. All right, I'm gone. Hate speech is what incites violence.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe.
Totally, absolutely incites violence.
Yeah,
Are
bro.
Iranians
If it
white?
was-
I mean, it depends on the Iranian. It depends on the Iranian. Show me an Iranian, I'll tell you if they're white or not. I don't know.
Well, some
you
Iranians
don't really
don't
care
want
about
to
race.
be white.
Yeah, you know us, we
Iran,
don't really care
Iran
about
are
race.
Gaelic. Iran are a Gaelic Scythian brothers,
Yes.
born on the steppes of Nogay, geographically homophobic as well as culturally
Yes. Yes. Based.
based. The steppes of Nogay.
The steps of Nogay. No gay.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I've united Ireland in Medieval 2. All that's left to do is
You did that way quicker than
Yeah,
me. It took me
yeah.
like 5 hours to do that.
Really?
But then again, I'm fucking trash at this.
Landed London.
Well, actually, I have one Anglo fort to get to submit. Once this Anglo fort submits, I will have all of Ireland free from the Anglo. It was really
Renegade.
easy. I mean, they just weren't moving their forces. I beat one army here, and they decided to just kind of turtle in their forts. I didn't even have to assault either of these. I just had them surrender. I haven't been doing like siege battles because they might crash the game and thus crash the live stream because they've crashed OBS when I've done that. So that's why I'm waiting them out or auto resolving. Plus, I don't like siege battles too much.
I love them. But there's a question. Your man here, Game Central 2, right? He says free speech is protected by the Constitution here through a law, but they're going to try bypass it. Almost certain this guy's Irish and he's talking about the Irish Constitution. That is true, but there are these things. There's De Valera's IRA courts, which don't have a jury, and you're basically presenting your case to the judge, and he decides whether you're in the IRA or not. They don't even need evidence to convict you in these courts, so there is no free speech. If I got arrested tomorrow, you know, for LARPing as fucking, you know, Bobby Sands 2 years ago, they could throw me in prison and I wouldn't have a jury, I wouldn't have a lawyer. You know, it's this special law that was brought in during the Civil War and was never gotten rid of, essentially. Well, not during the Civil War, but I think it was after the Civil War. But it was never gotten rid of. So, you know, if I ever disappear off the face of the earth one day, you know, I've been fucking kangaroo cored into Mountjoy prison. And we do, what is interesting about Ireland is, you know, we do not have any genocide denial law.
Ah, that's interesting.
So I can now say, with complete legal safety, that the ship being blown up by Iran is about as real as the Holocaust.
No, bro. Well, they're both real 100% events that happened.
We're gonna roll with the
Yes, they are.
punches. We're gonna roll with the punches, guys. My king just died trying to assault this Welsh city. So, King Brian's dead. We have a new faction leader, King Don Chad.
Don Chad.
Hey!
That is
Don
where
Chad.
is he? Where's Don Chad?
Don Chad.
Oh, it's this guy.
Dunkit.
Oh no, we have brigands we have to deal with.
Aye, my liege.
Great.
I'll rip off your head and
That's basically, if I'm not mistaken, the Irish version of Dunica. Dunca.
Alright, I
Dunkit.
gotta start
Dunchit.
recruiting a new army so that I really wanted to do some raiding on the on the Welsh coastline, but our entire army got destroyed.
How?
Listen, I auto-resolved in Medieval 2 because I don't want to risk crashing the stream.
But you not just lower your troop count. Lower your troop count to like 60, not 120 per like battalion.
No, I'm gonna keep on this army size. Why would I change army size?
Like change your unit size,
Yeah, why would I change my unit size?
so your game doesn't fucking shit a
No,
brick
no,
when
no,
you try to
no.
do a
It
siege.
doesn't even have to do with that. It doesn't have to do with being able to run the battles. It's a graphical glitch.
Oh right.
Yeah. It has to do with Windows 10 not really being too compatible.
Windows.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving this army over to Dublin because they're going to be the new raid the English and Welsh coastline army.
As per usual.
Yeah, we have to. I have to do that. I just kind of feel an obligation to.
Aye. Aye. Forward. Aye, Lord.
But yeah, how is everybody today? How's everybody in the chat? How is your
On your way to the
Thursday?
top survival. Did we interrupt any hikes or hunting trips this time?
Didn't some dude shoot like a fucking deer or something?
Yeah, that was our
Last
way to
stream?
top survival. Yeah, he has a video of him shooting a deer on his YouTube with his AR.
Based.
I did get owned by the sheep shaggers. I mean, I would have won that battle if I had manual control, but I just can't risk manual control right now. I think this has been a pretty good stream, though. Trump just cut funding to Planned Parenthood. If that's
Hey!
true, that's wonderful. That's amazing.
Hey, well, hey, that's some good news today.
Oh, yeah,
in addition to
absolutely.
the terrible news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope we don't go to war with Iran.
Trump said he was going to keep an open mind for negotiations with that one.
Well, Iran?
Yeah, with Iran. He says he doesn't even think the Iranian government did it.
Did Trump say that, or like Trump
He
says
thinks
that?
it was some rogue elements in the IRCG. He's not saying it was a false flag.
Oh, right.
What are you talking about? Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. I get what you're saying, Fred.
Yeah. He's saying that like someone in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps went a little bit crazy.
They didn't. They're shy.
Yeah, they didn't. That was definitely Mossad.
They didn't.
I'm just saying, that was Mossad. Like, I don't even need
Yeah,
any
but
evidence.
at
It was
least he didn't come
Mossad.
out to say
Guys,
that he was
we're
going to
just-
attack.
Yeah.
We're just gonna mine some of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're just gonna put mines in there, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
It's not going to get us into any trouble at all.
No.
Don't worry about
No.
it. No trouble whatsoever.
No, the Islamic
No
Revolution will continue.
1 second, guys. You two keep the chat and the viewers entertained. I got to be right back.
Okay.
So, what does the IRA like do these days? Do they even really
Sell drugs.
exist anymore in like common perception?
They exist in a romantic kind of idea nowadays, but the best way I can describe it is up north they're a bit more serious. When still in the occupied territory, they're more serious. They're still, basically a criminal organization now. They're not an army anymore. They're a criminal organization, and I'll be the first one to admit it. In the south, in Dublin, capital, there are two cartels essentially feuding. There's the Kinahans, which would be the south side gang, and there's the Hutches, which would be the north side gang.
Yeah.
The what's left of the IRA, so you have the continuity IRA, the CIRA,
Yeah.
and you have the INLA, which are like the socialist IRA. Yeah, kind of like Mafia Renegade. And I can't remember which one is working for who, but I think that the CIRA are working for the Kinahans and the INLA are working for the Hutches as like enforcers. And almost every bouncer you see outside a club in Dublin, if he's not Polish, Russian, or Lithuanian, he's in the IRA, and he's protecting drug money in there essentially.
I thought they fought against drug stuff.
They used to, and then they had to find a way to fund something. It's really sad that it turned from a legitimate army that was defending its
People.
community, its people, its community. Like the IRA wasn't an offensive force in the north, but it was an offensive force in like the 1920s, 1918, like up to 1921. It was an offensive force, but during the troubles in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it started off as defensive to defend Catholic communities in Northern Ireland from Protestant attacks.
Yep, which were pretty common at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There's what's the name of the street? There was a street in Northern Ireland where I think a crowd of something like a few thousand Protestants just rolled up and started burning down houses, Catholic houses.
Yep, isn't that what started the... No, I know what started the troubles was the UDF, they were like doing a parade through a bunch of Catholic territories, right?
Yeah. This happened. They both happened at the same time, actually. You're right.
And one of them was like, no, we really don't want you going through here, so they beat the shit out of them in response.
Yeah. That happened. That happens every year. Every year.
The UDF still do their marches?
The UVF, yeah. They still go in and they still do their marches, try to do their marches through Catholic territories, and riots always happen. But yeah, the modern IRA are just drug dealers, and nobody should get involved with them at all.
No one should
This
even
me-
try
this is me
to.
ordering the Irish people in the chat. Don't go near them. Don't. No, because there's nothing. There's nothing left. It's all. There's no legitimate organization left at all, and it's just shady drug dealing criminals. That's all it is anymore. It's the IRA is dead, and it has been for, I'd say, the last 20, 30 years. And
Damn.
you know, yeah, it's sad, but don't don't do it. Yeah, they're just drug dealers, and they should be shamed. Shamed is the least that should be done.
I
to
am
them.
an American, and I must eat. I must eat a lot.
Oh god.
Can you call yourself an American if you do not eat
you
way
don't-
more than your daily recommended calories?
No, you can't. I'll answer your question for you now.
Do any of us have a Discord? We don't have a Discord server. At least I don't. But
No,
I
I run
really
the Irish one,
recommend any.
but unless you're Irish, you're not getting in. Sorry, so I gotta protect the ethno state.
Yeah, I don't have a Discord server. Maybe I should have a Discord server. I don't
Didn't
really
you have
know
a
how to-
Sobieski Discord server?
No, I didn't. I've never had a Discord server for my YouTube channel.
Bro, think about all the networking and how you could make it get real popular real quick.
I don't know. It's too much effort.
Bro, can I make real money? Can I make real money with my Discord server? Fuck off. Fucking taxman kicking down
Can I
my
get
doors.
sponsorships? I gotta reach out to some people who like sell things I want and be like, hey, I'll do a video review on my history religion channel. Just send me one.
With all the stuff I've said, this channel will never get a sponsorship. You know, whenever you bring me on, you're gonna have to
Is
put me on
Stormfront sponsoring?
short. Yeah, that might. You're gonna have to put me on a short leash next time you have me.
Hey, Andrew Anglin, can I have some Bitcoin, please? Can you send me some of that Bitcoin? Anglin,
Mr.
can I get some
Anglin.
Bitcoin? Mr. Anglin, please, can I have some Bitcoin?
Please, sir, can I have a crumb of Bitcoin?
I'm gonna go to the Israeli weapons industry and be like, give me one of your Galils, one of your new Galils, so I can make a video about how ugly and disgusting it is compared to the classic Galil. That will totally get them to send me a gun free of charge.
Yeah, mocking it. That's the type of spotlight every company loves and wants on their products that they're investing millions, if not trillions, into.
Base, man.
Have them send me. I'll tell them, send me a Tavor, and maybe you'll get me to like bullpups.
I look forward to fighting you.
There was someone asked me a question way back up here. I'm trying to find it. The Order of Malta got showed by Clovis.
What's the order? The Order of Malta.
They're on that tiny island. Oh,
Oh
I thought-
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. There's brigands all over Ireland right now. I gotta kill these criminals. You know, Captain Sean. Captain Sean's
Mullock.
got swordsmen and kerns.
Mullock, are you still here, Mr. Mullock man?
Mr.
Because
Hold on,
you
man.
asked me. Yeah, a guy called Mullock was in the chat.
Wait a minute.
He asked. Do I have any good books on Irish history? And I have one here that I think you can still get. I'm walking across to Tanner's library here. If you're still listening, Mullock, there's a fucking 100-year-old book you can probably get a reprint of called Irish Nationality by Alice Stopford Green. She's one of the women who she took part in the Hoth gun runnings to arm the men who rebelled in 1916, and this book is kind of like a brief history of like the Irish people. So yeah, it's worth a read, and it's pre-1916. So you should read it if you can get a chance. I'm gonna see if I can get a link to it here, and I'll put it in the chat for you. This is the Gaelic colonization of Yayo's server or Yayo's stream.
Listen, man, I'm like any American. I'm part German and part Irish.
You're a mutt.
That's such a common
The
thing.
Germanics.
Okay, all right. Listen here, man.
I'm gonna go off. Don't make me go off.
What problem do you have with the Germans, man?
Nothing. I love the Germans.
They're autistic.
Oh god, this link is huge. Okay. Mullock, DM me and I'll send you the link on Twitter. Why the fuck is this link so fucking big? Oh shit, it's €25. Fuck. I got this book for the new reprint, right, is €25. The 100-year-old original 3.
I'm checking Twitter and I see Tanner, as you were messaging me on there to get you added to the call. Message me on
Yeah, I
Discord.
missed you everywhere.
Yeah, I
was
was
like,
busy. I
there
was
for like 10
busy.
minutes. I was fighting the Anglo.
I was playing my video game during my live stream.
Tanners, I was playing Minecraft.
Yeah, guys, who wants the Sobieski Minecraft server?
Oh hell yeah!
If somebody will send me a like $30 donation on PayPal, and put in the donation that it's for a Minecraft server, I will host a Minecraft server. That's the only way I'll do it. But yeah, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, and I think we're running out of energy. We're running out of steam.
Oh yeah, it's almost. Well, I'm in work tomorrow, but yeah. Does anybody have any last questions?
Yeah, any final questions before we wrap it up?
Any big fan? Do we have any fan questions? Anyone want to know about our?
What do you mean, Game Central? In America, basically everybody had to learn English. That's why there's so much mixing of European peoples.
Yeah.
Okay, on your way to the top, survival, do it.
Should we glass Iran with nukes or Moabs? How about we do neither? How about we don't do it?
Is that meatball sub any good, Joe?
Oh god.
Decent?
Yeah.
Should we glass Iran with nukes or Tanner, stop being gay. We need to die first. Sorry, I forgot.
That's not even a question, earn your way to the top, survival. You know the answer.
It's Hitler, obviously.
No. You got it wrong, Tanners.
No. It's
Think
our
about
boy.
it.
It's our boy.
Think about it.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Okay, obviously he's God, so he's going to win automatically. But Jesus was a carpenter, and he traveled all around Palestine on foot. Okay, this man was built. He was built, okay?
Yeah.
Hitler on the
had
other hand,
Parkinson's.
yeah, he just sat around basically. I mean, he was probably in good shape in World War One, but by World War II, where everybody knows Hitler from, I don't think that man would have really been able to hold his own in a bar fight. Okay.
We're talking late game Hitler.
Yeah.
We're talking DLC, Fallout 3,
We're talking
Endgame
about
expansion Hitler.
We're talking about Argentinian Hitler.
Yeah. Mauritian Struggle won't accept my open weight 12-round boxing match for the autistic trap belt.
I'm gonna tell him
Tell
that
him-
I will.
tell him
I will
I'll
fight
fight
him in
him.
Medieval 2. I'll fight him in Medieval 2.
Tell him I'll fight his grandmother. In real life.
Well, lads, I think that's enough for today. This stream will be
It is.
going Unlisted.
Unlisted.
Yes, unlisted, and I think you all know
Yeah,
why.
I'll be a good boy next time. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The streams are mostly going to be unlisted. I think I'm going to create like for people who you know
delete
won't
this.
report it. People who won't report it. I will probably make a list of all the unlisted streams with links so that people can go back and watch them.
Yeah.
But this
do.
can't be on the public channel. I get too many people who do not like me. They leave an angry comment on the Rhodesia video, then they're going to start looking for things to report on my main channel. And the last thing I want is, I don't want to stream where where we've brought up the name Anglo. Okay, that's...
Yeah,
that
or anything, absolutely anything that I've said in the last 2 hours. That,
Yeah, you mentioned Mossad, which is bad.
Yeah, I mentioned the Holocaust. And how I believe in it.
All right, well, everybody, have a nice one. Thank you for tuning in. This was a good stream. I hope everybody enjoyed the stupid Twitter drama bullshit. It was really entertaining. Mauritian Struggle, you are an idiot. You're a big idiot. If you want to, challenge us to a real life or video game duel, I'm willing to accept that. If you'd like to come to America and you'd like to have a cowboy 6-shooter shootout with me, I will do it. Okay, I will give you that opportunity. All right. If you want to be a target for me to sight in my Cobra sight on my AK-74, Mauritian, you can come over and consent to that, and we can set it up. Okay. Hit me up. You don't have a Twitter anymore. You're gonna have to YouTube message me. I don't even know where YouTube messages go. You have to message me on YouTube, man. We'll arrange it.
Mauritian, I will car bomb your grandmother in Minecraft.
Oh man. Yeah,
this was a joke, police. This was a joke. I'm not going to do that.
All right, everybody. See you around. Also, I'm glad the guy who commented on my one community post saying that he's really into K-On! Has not shown up on any of these live streams. That's a great thing. If you're into K-On!, there's something wrong with your brain. Have a nice one, everybody. See you around.